What's good, DBS fam? Figs here with Team FOE. Got my tournament report here for my store championship. I played at 3 different store championships and went undefeated. So I have my first deck that I ran here that I wanted to go over with you guys. Then I'll have 2 other videos as well where I'll be going over 2 other decks that I played this weekend. I had a lot of fun. My first event, I decided to play U7. It was great. I used the same build that Justin Rios, my teammate, played at Tournament of Power, using the U7 UI Goku leader, the Surge leader. If no one knows what he does, on the front, you can pitch an extra card, take up to 1 life, draw a card. Surge is 1 blue, 1 red, and then you're able to draw 3 on tap 1. Leader, of course, is really great. You can grab 3 extra cards, different names from your drop and or warp. Also, if you have a U7 battle card on the board, you're able to draw a card, look at your opponent's hand, grab a battle card with 3,500 power or less, or an extra card, and send it to their drop. So, leader's great. A lot of setup, a lot of being able to filter your extra cards, and being able to, abuse your opponent, look at your opponent's hand, and also abuse all the extra cards over and over again. So let's go over the list. A couple changes, not very many from his list, but more of a couple personal choices just based on how my local events were run and the type of meta that we have here. But we'll start the standard 2 of the 6-drop. I like this 6-drop over the one that uses the catastrophic blow, just because he's allowed to get multiple attacks. So he restands for every 2 extra cards in your hand or drop that you warp, negging the leader 5k, your opponent's leader. So every time that he restands, he's going to go in for a bigger and bigger swing. The only thing that pretty much stops him is time magic. So, of course, we're not dropping this bad boy when time magic's around. But, he's definitely one of the stronger of the 2, in my opinion, because he requires less setup. So I decided to just opt for 2, no more than that, because I have other finishers. So, next, we have here the SCR, Goku and Vegeta SCR. Very great, honestly. This victory strike is probably, in my opinion, better than the other one, just because of the condition of being able to negate all cards during your turn and your opponent's turn. So it allows you to be able to just put this on the board, lock your opponent out for that turn and for the next in the event that this attack does not finish them. Therefore, they don't have much of a comeback when they're playing with this card, when you're playing with this card. So it's really great. I won so many games with this card. It's so amazing. But for those who don't know, pay 5, 3 blue, 2 red, negate all of your opponent's cards except extra cards, including the leader, until the end of your opponent's next turn. So they can only use extra cards. Cards really great. Next, we have the Gogeta package. No surprise, every deck I play, I, of course, always try to include Gogeta. And Justin Rios definitely did a really good job running the Gogeta package in this deck and finding the right options for it. 3-3-2 is perfect because, of course, we have 2 different negate type battle cards for the Goku and Vegeta. The Vegeta costs 1 if you have 4 or more extra cards in the drop, not just multicolor. His auto, when he comes into play, lets you neg a battle card by 5k. Then the Goku is a 2-cost negate. When it's played, bounce a 3 or lower battle card back to your hand, excluding himself. So basically, you can loop these 2, plus the Roshi that we're playing, the 2 negate Roshis. So just between this card and these 2, you're able to pretty much, balance out all of your negates and be able to bounce them back to your hand against certain aggro matchups. I didn't find myself doing that most often, just because it gets kind of difficult against certain matchups with energy management if you're not able to see Dimension Magic. Otherwise, though, great package for Gogeta. Still best card in the game. Even though we're getting some answers, and I know Bandai won't ban it, so I'll be able to keep playing this bad boy. But this is what I went for the Gogeta package. Then, as I said, the 2 Roshis. Not much explanation on that. 2 Roshis was fine. It's combo power. It's a negate, so it's perfectly fine where it's at. 4 Tyranids cost. Great card. Definitely need to draw. Once you're on the backside of your leader no longer draws unless you're using skills. So you essentially only have 1 to 2 turns to draw once you've awoken. So this card just allows you to be able to keep drawing and seeing more cards. So definitely a 4 of, in my opinion. I wouldn't play any less. Until we get the one from Draft Box 5. That might be an option. It's a negate draw 2, so kind of does the same thing. but having more negates is always better than it's always better to leave your energy open for more negates than to have to play this on your turn because it's an activate main. So over here we have the Chaos Emperor Beam, Death Beam. Great card. The neg 30k ignoring barrier is super solid. It hits everything. It hits Gogeta, it hits SCRs, it stops them from killing you, like the Vegeta SCR. So this is a great card. It just gets rid of those big boss cards that your opponent has that are hard to deal with. Negative 30k is just great. So 4 of course is super mandatory. And then of course it has that remove from the warp, or remove from drop to warp, to look at the top card, multicolor, add it to your hand. So we definitely had to max out on these, of course, as a standard for the build. 4 Royal Condemnation, great card. Obviously can't play less. It just allows you to be able to deal with those trouble cards that you don't want to hit the board, whether they're a 2 cost, 1 cost, 8 cost. Doesn't really matter. This deals with just about everything as long as it doesn't have deflect. So 4 of, and then same effect as the Emperor in the drop, warp it and grab a card. 4 Vegeta, best Invoker battle card in the deck. Barrier, negate or deflect, so it can't be negated when it comes into play. You wouldn't play any other Invoker, as it, he just has that utility of being able to just sit on the board and has a hard time being dealt with if your opponent's not playing any of the 3 cost extra cards that we got out of this last set. So great card. 3 of the We're in This Together. It's a great card. It definitely is very good for board wiping. I personally would probably go down to 2 next time. 3 felt like too much. I liked it for being able to add it to hand for discarding effects. So I did play against Android 13 as one of my first matchups, and I just kept adding 2 to my hand, and when he had the successor Android 13 on the board, and just kept looping them if I couldn't get it off the board. So it allowed me to be able to not lose any hand advantage by adding these to the hand every turn. But I would definitely play 2. I don't think 3 is very necessary. 2 seems to be fine, so no. I'd probably drop it down to 2 next time. Only 2 Whis and 4 of the field card. I didn't feel the need to play 3. I feel like every time I played the deck, I always seen one or the other. Plus, during some aggro matchups, I didn't find it too necessary to have to play this on turn 1 because I didn't want to tap out. So I didn't mind waiting a couple turns to see it. As long as I was able to set it up by turn 3 or 4 along with my Vegeta, it wasn't too much of a big deal. So 2 was perfect, and then 4 for this was perfect. I probably wouldn't change the ratio at all. Moving over to the super combos, I did like the 2-2 split. The draw 1 at 5 life, and then the untap multicolor during your opponent's turn were great. Sometimes you needed the draw or just the defense without having to untap. So this can't put in a lot of work. Then you have the option to untap. So this also put in a lot of work. And the reason why I like this is because I only played 2 Bean. Bean really wasn't too effective in this deck. As I got through more of the tournament, I found more time to where I would actually side it out during certain matchups because untapping energy really wasn't relevant. The 5k boost most of the time wasn't really relevant. I find myself wanting to negate attacks more, not allowing my opponent to further their game state by playing additional cards that would either make me discard or allow them to set up their board. Because a lot of the decks right now in the format, they have to attack to set up their board. So I found myself negating more attacks than anything and just trying to deal with battle cards during my turn instead of my opponent's, as I usually got more value out of that. So Bean didn't really stick too well as a 2 of. I probably will drop it in future builds. I don't know if I would even side it, to be honest, but I think that it's definitely not necessary. Then we have 2 Weeks Coercion. I like this a lot, actually. Being able to tap down a blue and then open up a multicolor was always really good because I would Tyranny cost, and then I would have like just maybe blue open after maybe using a Tyranny cost and a board wipe for We Are In This Together. Then I would use the Weeks Coercion to tap down a blue and open up a multicolor. Because again, a lot of battle cards have to attack to put guards on the board, so a lot of time I would just negate their leader swing, and then I'd have access to a multicolor, and they couldn't do anything the rest of the turn. And then of course the 4D Magic, same concept, except it opened up 2 energy, so it's even better. It has sparking, of course, so it's always going to be a 4 of in this build. And of course it worked out perfectly in that way. But this was the first deck that I had taken to the first store championship that I went to on Thursday. I went undefeated with 1 draw against Boo. I played against Android 13. I played against Boo. I played up against the Gohan reboot leader, Blue Green. And then I also played against the Brawly BR starter deck, which was actually pretty good, especially with the Gohan successor package. But all in all, it was a great deck. Very fun. A couple small changes I would make, as I said, we are in this together, and maybe taking out the Sensu beans. Otherwise, it was definitely very good. So expect to see 2 more deck profiles. I had an event on Thursday, had one on Friday and Saturday where I went undefeated. So I have 2 other decks for you, and surprise, surprise, they're all going to have Gogeta in it. So definitely enjoy that. So thank you for tuning in here with Team FOE, and go check out my other videos.